What's up guys, I'm James from the Rebel Base. This week I've got a really special build for you. It means a lot to me, it's an emotional ride. We're going to do something crazy, we're going to test ourselves like we've never tested ourselves before. We're going to build a Millennium Falcon-inspired bench, almost entirely out of EVA Foam, with the help from my very good friends over at Tiger Supplies, who provided all of the materials for this build. Let's check it out.
Hey James, this is a fantastic project and we absolutely love it. We've sent over some of our best HD foam along with our new hot glue foam sticks to get the build off the ground.
I was born in 1976. As I grew up, Star Wars was everywhere. In every toy shop I walked into, on every billboard I walked past, and every conversation with my friends. My dad, the best of dads. He used to help me build dioramas for my Star Wars figures, but most memorably, he created a Millennium Falcon single chair for my bedroom. Sadly, I don't have this piece anymore, and I don't have my dad. I thought about that a lot during this build. That's what makes it all the more special to me. One thing I do know is I'm going to enjoy this slice of Star Wars with my kids. We can sit back and play a few Star Wars games and of course watch The Mandalorian together. Hopefully my dad is up there somewhere quietly appreciating my handiwork, happy that I picked up one or two tricks from him during our time together. A few episodes ago I gave you all a virtual tour of my 3D concept of the actual room build itself. Now, as all projects evolve over time, mine certainly has gone through some changes. In fact, the design of the chair is now quite different to my original idea, much closer to how it appears in the films. You can check out that virtual tour in the link above and also in the description below. My workflow here though involves creating the model first in my 3D program, exporting that file into a program such as Pepicura, and generating 2D plans that I can send to a paper-based printer to print out, cut out and trace around. I used Tiger Supplies' awesome new foam glue sticks and contact cement to bring this build together. Obviously, this is a chair, and I'm a big guy. I mean, I'm 6'3". But of course I want to sit on this with my kids and watch The Mandalorian, so it has to be a functional chair. The final build would have 3 skins: the base that you can see I'm building here, the thinner 5mm foam to give it its general shape, and then of course the detailed pads to match the look of the movies. Those 3 layers of foam work together to give the bench its structure and allows a big dude like me to sit back and relax. The quality of this 20mm foam from Tiger Supplies speaks for itself. It's incredible stuff to work with, it cuts beautifully and it holds its shape really well. So my laser cutter has a limited cutting bed, which to be fair is about a standard size I think when I compare it to things like the Glowforge, but it's obviously not going to take whole sheets like this, not on my desktop scale anyway, and it comes on the roll kind of like this. So what I've been doing is basically cutting big chunks of the 20mm in big squares and then sitting this into the laser cutter, being quite sparing in the way I use the foam, but so far so good. In addition to using my laser cutter, I also used a craft knife. The plans that I've created for this Millennium Falcon bench are actually quite simple. The pieces, although curved and fairly intricate, are not too small, meaning with a little bit of time and effort you can get some really nice cuts. There were so many pads, so many different shapes, and so much sanding. But I actually found a technique that for me worked really well. I did use a Dremel, but I did do most of this by hand, using a combination of heat gun and 2 different grits of sandpaper. check out how I got these results, you can watch the video linked above and in my description below. Now this is the bit that I really enjoyed, painting parts of the prop. I spent some time thinking about the colours of the Falcon bench. It appears a different shade of grey and almost beige depending on which movie you watch. In Empire Strikes Back, the bench appears beige. In A New Hope and the other films, the bench looks grey. I was able to get some really good results just by using a couple of layers of primer, such as this generic grey spray paint, and of course, until such times as Tige Supplies release a rubber-based paint, I used some tan Plasti-Dip, which is just the perfect colour for this bench. This is a great time to thank my Patreons. It means so much, each and every one of you supporting the show like you do. And if you're interested and want to check it out, come and see what kind of free files and plans you can grab yourself as a patron of the Rebel Base build. Of course, any good Star Wars prop needs to look lived in. So I mixed up a standard black wash acrylic and set to with my brush. I was very generous in my application of the paint. I left it on for a few minutes before wiping it away with just some shop towels. I made sure that I left the acrylic black wash in some of the crevices because that really pops the details out. As you can see, it took away that crisp, clean look and left a more lived-in effect, which is exactly what I was after. Because my bench is inspired by, and therefore not a complete replica, I was able to be quite creative in its design. But what this did mean was all of the greebles had to be custom in size. So I 3D modelled them all in 3D Max and then sent them to the resin printer. I gave most of the greebles a silver spray before applying any weathering, and that way I could scratch away the weathering at a later date to reveal the silver underneath. Okay, we could say it's done. We could stop there. We could build the bench and that's it. But we all know what makes that bench cool is the control panels that you see surrounding it. I broke this down into two main control panels and I built them separately. Both of them are curved, but one was angular with more buttons and the other one was forward facing, with outlets for the pipes that run around the bench. All of those things that go into the immersivity that is the Star Wars lived-in universe. And I wanted to carry that over, as always, into this build. The foam itself has kind of a mottled surface and it picks up highlights and lowlights nicely. So with just a few passes of some grey primer, I just applied some of this weathering rub with my fingertips. I made sure I emphasised the edges. The great thing about making inspired by builds rather than being limited to recreating the actual prop as seen in the film is you can use some creativity. I particularly love the iconic levers you see in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon, and I wanted to include these in the control panel somehow. I know they don't belong there, but I just think they look damn cool. As a kid, I used to flick through the catalogue and get to the Star Wars pages and sit there for hours just looking at those awesome models. One thing I enjoyed about opening a Star Wars Kenner product at Christmas was the fact that there was some putting together. And that's exactly what I've done here with my bench.
It's Millennium Falcon. You have to put it together.
I have the bench and I have the two control panels, and it brought me great pleasure bringing these things together for the final reveal.
All systems go!
And there you have it. I have the first part of my room build complete. It's great after a year of building smaller props to finally be in the position where I can say confidently that part of my room is finished. That's for you, Dave. So guys, see you next time where we create something from a galaxy far, far away.